Hello Zimbabwe, welcome to LiveTalk. We are coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington. I am your host, Taboka Ncube. Today we are discussing the amendment of the Exchange Control Act, arrest of foreign currency dealers, and the shortage of the newly introduced Zimbabwe Gold or ZIG banknotes and coins. But first, let's take a look at what is happening here in the United States. The US economy is one of the biggest issues for voters in this year's presidential contest between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Biden campaigned this week on new tech investments. Trump says he will roll back Biden infrastructure spending and boost oil drilling. VOA correspondent Scott Stearns has the story.
Joe Biden campaigned on technology investments this week in the Midwest state of Wisconsin, where Microsoft is spending $3.3 billion on a new data center that Biden says is, quote, another example of the private sector optimism. So far, we've created $866 billion in private sector investment nationwide, almost $1 trillion. Historic amounts in such a short time. Now it's literally creating hundreds of thousands of jobs, building new semiconductor factories, electric vehicles and battery factories, and so much more, all here in America. The site of the new Microsoft data center is the same spot where 6 years ago, Donald Trump announced a $10 billion investment by the electronics manufacturer Foxconn. That complex was meant to create 13,000 new jobs for Wisconsin. It was not built. Biden called that another broken promise from Trump. In fact, he came here with your Senator, Ron Johnson, literally holding a golden shovel, promising to build the 8th wonder of the world. Are you kidding me? Look what happened. They dug a hole with those golden shovels, and then they fell into it. Trump says Biden is mishandling the U.S. economy, citing a rise in annual inflation.
The economy is not doing well. You see inflation is through the roof. They're not going to be able to lower interest rates. If they do, it's purely political, but it'll be very bad if they do.
Trump is campaigning against Biden infrastructure spending, including on clean energy and technology.
And upon taking office, I will impose an immediate moratorium on all new spending grants and giveaways under the Joe Biden mammoth socialist bills like the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. We're going to save all that money.
Biden says that infrastructure spending helps the U.S. economy.
In addition to roads and highways and so much more will be made with American products, built by American workers, creating good-paying American jobs.
Trump says his jobs plan includes rolling back limits on oil drilling and protecting U.S. workers from illegal immigrant labor.
What's my plan for jobs, you said?
Yes.
My plan for jobs is to drill, baby, drill, to bring energy down, to close up the border, to get rid of all the criminals that are being allowed into our country.
An April Harvard Caps Harris poll shows inflation is the most important issue for U.S. voters, with just 1 in 3 saying the economy is on the right track. Scott Stearns, VOA News.
We continue with the Africa Corruption series, and today we are focusing on election fraud in Nigeria. Nigeria is cracking down on electoral fraud, marking a turning point for African democracy. After the turbulent 2023 general elections, the country initiated prosecutions against offenders March 4, 2024, aiming to restore credibility. Emeka Gibson reports from Abuja.
In a significant move, 196 suspects are now facing prosecution for offense during Nigeria general election. The Nigeria Bar Association, alongside the Independent National Election Commission, INEC, announced launch case hearing in court across Nigeria Monday, 4th March 2024, emphasizing the country's readiness to tackle electoral corruption. Officials from INEC and political parties are among those facing trial. Citizens like Stephen John have widely praised this move as a step in the right direction.
For us to sanitize our electoral system, there's a need for those who break the law during elections to be prosecuted, so that will serve as a deterrent for others who want to go the same route.
Electoral fraud has long plagued Nigeria, eroding trust in its democracy. And that's why Nigerians like Igwe Friday are still skeptical.
In a country like Nigeria, election violence, when you take the matter to court, before you know, they will question, the matter will not go anywhere.
This marks the first time Nigeria pursued charges against electoral offender despite constitutional provision. The Nigeria Bar Association is providing a free legal service to INEC to ensure the effective prosecution of those who undermine the electoral process. Out of the arrests made by the Nigeria police during the 2023 general poll, 215 cases were filed, with 197 of them being electoral offense. All cases are tried in the regular court system, as Nigeria hasn't established an independent electoral offense commission yet. Jide Ojo, an electoral and governance expert, cited political interference as a major obstacle in fighting electoral crimes.
But let's not be too optimistic. These characters in the political class are the primary beneficiary of the electoral offenses. So they are not in a hurry. Because making stringent law or having to establish an independent commission to see to prosecution, it's like you are shooting yourself in the foot. So they are not in a hurry to ensure that this electoral offences commission is established through the instrumentality of the law.
Various offences include conspiracy, vote intimidation, vote buying, and violence were observed during the last election. In Nigeria, electoral crime like a defined trial timeline, unlike election dispute resolution, leading to prolonged legal processes lasting months or even years. While cases are underway, Ojo emphasized the importance of breaking the culture of impunity to rebuild trust.
There must be an elite consensus to do away with this issue of electoral offences. It does not portray us as a civilized people, as a democracy.
As Africa's most populated country in Africa, Nigeria electoral integrity holds immense significance for the continent. The recent Electoral Act reform of 2022 has laid the groundwork for justice and transparency, offering hope for a future of credible, free and fair election in Nigeria. Will Nigeria government bring it to fruition, the next round of presidential election set for February 2027 might bring some answer. Gibson Emeka for VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
Neville Mtangwa and his two accomplices who were arrested on Wednesday today appeared in court but were denied bail and will spend the weekend in jail. The trio is accused of contravening the Exchange Control Act by illegally trading in foreign currency. The three were remanded in custody by Harare Magistrate Dennis Mangosi and will be back in court on Monday, the 13th of May, for continuation of bail application. Neville, son to the Minister of Women Affairs Monica Mtangwa and ZANU-PF spokesperson Chris Mutangwa, is also charged separately for possession and use of a Starlink kit. Starlink has not been licensed to operate in Zimbabwe. Studio 7 reached out to Mtangwa's lawyers at the Harare Magistrate Court.
Yes, Madam, good afternoon. Hello. So, may you just tell us in brief what happened in court today?
We don't have anything to say. We don't have instructions from trying to say anything at this moment. Thank you.
What's your name, madam? What's your name?
We don't have instructions.
But what's your name, madam? I just wanted to check what happened. That's something that is official from lawyers, not to say anything or which side do you belong to.
You know what? A lawyer is always instructed, and we don't have instructions to say anything concerning this case.
Those were Neville Mtangwa's lawyers in Harare. Okwakatesi gesiti ugu koka umoya. Please stay tuned as we take a short break.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
For those that have just joined our show, please note that we are streaming this discussion live on our Facebook pages, VOA Shona, VOA Studio 7, and VOA Ndebele. We are also live on YouTube, VOA Zimbabwe. Today, we are discussing the effects of the amendment of the Exchange Control Act to include a penalty of 200,000 ZiG for charging goods or services at an exchange rate above the prevailing official rate published by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. To discuss this issue, we are joined on the phone by economic analysts, Professor Gift Mugano and Mr. Masimba Kuchera. We had also reached out to the RBZ advisor, Mr. Persistence Kwanyanya, and I understand we just got him. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Zimbabwe.
Thank you. Today we'll break down our discussion into three, that is the Exchange Control Act, arrest of foreign currency dealers, and the accessibility of ZiG notes and coins. We'll begin with the amendments to the Exchange Control Act. Prof. Mugano, what do you think will be the effects of these changes?
Okay, there's a history to the introduction of 10% markup on the official exchange rate. It's not a new thing. It was done under Dr. Mangujga when he was trying to close the gap between black market rate and official rate. But the challenge then was that the shops were failing to compete with the informal sector. There was a point in time where groceries or goods were disappearing from the formal sector, and the informal sector appeared to be much more active and thriving. Because when the exchange rate, official exchange rate, is lower than the black market rate, the goods in the formal setup, in the retail, becomes very expensive. For example, if you're using a rate of 318 as an official rate, and one is using a rate of 23 in the black market. If you convert that ZiG into US dollar, the one with a higher rate in the black market, it will be cheaper in US dollars. So now, using this background, it becomes very simple to then to see that this decision has been taken by the Minister of Finance to take off the 10% provision for retailers to adjust the formal exchange rate upward. It would then result in a high cost of products or high prices in the formal setup, which would then see people shunning again, going to the formal setup and going to the black market or informal sector.
Thank you.
It's not only people. My last point is that the manufacturers of the commodities we will not then also supply their goods in the formal setup because then no one will be buying. They're also pushing it to informal sales. So there will be shortages of commodities in the retail.
Thank you, Prof. Mgano. Mr. Gwanyanya, what's your take on this? We had Nyaza Unzwa Navamgano Murukuzwana says.
Thank you. The ministry, which is responsible for the SI, which is Treasury, in my view, they've come up with this SI basing on the assumption that the question about the functionality of the foreign currency market has been addressed adequately and sufficiently addressed with the structured currency and how the structured currency is expected to operate. So we don't expect, given that we know the amount of big usable balances in the economy, and those amounts in the economy are fully backed by foreign currency or foreign resources. We don't expect that over time we should face challenges in respect of access of foreign currency. So the SI is made or crafted with that in mind. So there should be smooth access of foreign currency in the economy. But we know that as it is currently, this is not the situation obtaining on the ground. And we never anticipated that it will happen over time. The wheels of commerce would naturally take time to turn, given they become rust. But over time, we needed something to guide us on the assumption that we expect the full functionality of the interbank. So when the interbank is fully functional, there is no question, there's no issue to talk about in respect of the SI. The SI assumes a functional, fully functional interbank market, which is where we're going, given that all the requirements for a fully functional interbank market, in fact, major requirements, that is the availability of the foreign currency.
Thank you.
Satisfied.
Thank you, Mr. Gwanyanya, for that. We'll move on to Mr. Kuchera. What's your take on this subject, Mr. Kuchera?
I think the key issue is not around statutory instruments. I think for me, the key issue is, do we have enough within the formal market? The problem has been, and we know that from the RTGS time, that the RBZ was failing to pay suppliers or whoever would have bought money using the market that they were using in RTGS. So the issue for me is perhaps attacking the challenge in the wrong way, because for me, it's not the statutory instruments that will enforce a discipline. I think what will enforce discipline is if company X goes to the RBZ with their papers in order, they should be able to get the money. We saw at the last time people were spending 5 months, 6 months without getting the money that they would have applied and paid for. And this is what causes the bottleneck.
Thank you, Mr. Kuchera. Moving on to the issue of enforcement of the law arresting foreign currency dealers. Mr. Gwanyanya, do you see this having a positive impact? Murikona unge zvichabatsira here kana tichitarisa situation irimo izvezvi munyika?
the focus remains on the effectiveness of the policy, remains on implementation of policy. Law enforcement agents, let them do their job, but I want to emphasize that Reserve Bank is focusing on policy. So we think, Reserve Bank thinks that the policy that has been put in place is adequate enough to ensure functionality of the foreign currency market. But the problem with Zimbabwe is not that the fundamentals are totally upside down. No. It is also to do with behavioral issues. And these behavioral issues are dealt with by a different constituency. Dealing with the foreign currency challenges of Zimbabwe today does not require only Reserve Bank. It requires all of us to summon a new spirit. We are entering a new season where everyone is expected to work towards current stability, permanent current stability. So yes, I'm not saying the current arrests that are happening is the solution to our current challenges. But if behavior is not consistent, if behavior is at odds with the expectation of the law, then it is dealt with by respective agents. But at the Reserve Bank and the monetary authorities, we deal with policy.
Thank you.
We think the policy we have put in place is one that is adequate enough to bring back permanent stability into the country. But of course, we need other policies outside the monetary policies to chip in, and more importantly, the policies to do with the real sectors of the economy. The economy must start producing. The economy must start giving hope to everyone in the economy. Even what happens outside the economy, given the nature of our economic challenges, which cannot be 100% finance and economics. What happens in the social space, in the political space, I think we everyone should just summon a new spirit in Zimbabwe.
Tinotenda vaGwanyanya. Prof Mugano, izvi munozvionawo sei vataura panyaya yepolicy also nenyaya yestability yecurrency tichitarisa kusungwa kwevanhu kuti kuri kubatsirawo here, muri kuzviona sei vaMugano?
No, tinotenda. Chekutanga ndechekuti economy haikwanisi kufamba zvakanaka nekusunga vanhu. Ini ndandisapoti kuita mutinyasano pablack market. Nyika inofanira kunge ine discipline, asi chida kutambisa kuti chii chiri kuita vanhu vaende pablack market, chii chiri kuita kuti marates aramba akasiyana eblack market neofficial rate. Aya masymptoms. Saka tiri kudhila nemasymptoms kunyange teida kusunga vanhu. Dambudziko repo ndiro yanga achitaura pesi Gwanyanya kuti kana tisina kugadzira production hatina kwatiri kuenda, kana tisikuita walk the talk nyaya dzeconfidence hatina kwatiri kuenda. Tiri kunzwa kuReserve Bank uku nekumabhengi kuti gavhena vakataura pachena kuti kana weida foreign currency enda kubank unoona foreign currency. Asi tichitaura nevanhu vemubusiness nhasi mupepa hurumende chairo anenge achitaura kunezita pamhepo panapa ratonyora heading yekuti mabusiness ari kushayiwa mari vaenda kumabhengi, right? Kune mabhengi makambani ane mari yakawanda chaizvo yavari kuda kunoaplya vatora mazigi aya, right? Imwe information itaona ndeyekuti imwe kambani yakaaplya $500,000 kubva yapiwa $25,000 nebhengi, imwe $475,000 havana kupiwa. Saka Reserve Bank kana uchiti enda kubank unopuwa mari governor kana uchiti ne 3 times cover yemari iri mubank zvatodhakwa manje kana takushayiwa mari sezvotaurwa izvi ndiwo chimwe chekuda chetano chekuti nyaya yecurrency haingapedzi nereserve bank chete inoda munhu wese kuti aite mubatira pamwe chete asi hurumende yezimbabwe ndiyo yakanyanya kutadza pekupedzisa nekuti haina kuaccepta dzigi ravo kuti ritenge fuel ritenge passport ribhadhura kujuti saka isusu chedu chii pamuchato wedhongi nedere kana muridzi waro ariramba.
Tinotenda vamugano tichidzoka kwamuri vaGwanyanya pane nyaya yataurwa navamugano yekuti pari kurapwa but pasiri kutariswa kuti chii chaicho chakonzeresa kuti musoro unge uchitema kana pachitariswa panyaya yekusunga vanhu. Tichibva tapinda zvekare panyaya yekuwanikwa kwemanotes nemacoins eZimbabwe Gold, pane dzimwe nzvimbo dziri kunzi vanhu vari kuti havasati vaibata mari iyi, pamwe chete nenyaya yaunzwa navamugano yekuti vari kuda kuti vange vachitenga foreign currency havasi kuiwana. Zvakamira sei vaGwanyanya?
Dambudziko ratinaro idambudziko rekuti tinotarisira kuti murwere anga ari panhoo amuke nhasi otomanya. Aiwa, hakuna murwere anogona kumuka zuva rimwe chete omhanya, asi tiri kuti zvikwanisiro zvokuti amhanye zvavapo, utenda hwake hwabviswa. Saka takadaro tinenge tichiti hongu pane zvinoitika kumabhanga uko, nekuti muchini wanga wachangomutswa wava nemakore usiri kufamba. Saka muchini uyu une zvegwindiri zvakawanda zvinoda kubatwa. Pamwe anotaurwa kunzi haana kuwana mari, pamwe ingangova kutaurirana kuri kuitika pakati pebhengi rake neReserve Bank, kusanzwisisana kunenge kuripo nematrezhara. Pane zvakawanda zvinenge zviripo nekuti takanga tava nenguva mutsika uyu uchiri kushanda. Tinotozviziva, saka pari kuzamwa kunzi dai pagona kuti paitwe nechimbi kuti timutse mutsika uyu weinterbank market utange kushanda. Asi tinenge tichiziva chinhu chimwe chete patinenge takagara, kuti mari yese iri munyika inoshandisika. Saka ndinoda kuti ndidzire papo ndichiti inoshandisika. Saka iwe ukati une 500,000 iri yechikwereti, haichiyo mari yatinotarisira kuti inoenda kunotsvaga mari yepainterbank, nekuti mari iyoyo haisi mari inoshandisika. Mari inoshandisika imari yavanoti maeconomist vanoti M0. Saka ndiyo mari yatinotarisira kuti ndiyo vanotsvaga nayo mari kubhanga guru rehurumende. Saka zviri kuitika, bhanga guru rehurumende riri kuti tipe mari yaunayo mubhanga isiri yechikwereti, votipa mari yemubhanga votuzayari kuaplayira, votarisa vokupa mari iri. Vamwe vanenge vachiti tine mari dzisiri mari dzinoshandisika, vanozaiwa kana iyi haichengi yebhenki, tinoda yenyu tokupaipa neyenyu. Ndinozviziva kuti pachine matambudziko achiripo ari kuwanikwa, asi kana ndakazvitarisira zvinhu zvinogona kugadzirisika nenguva pfupi. Ndosaka ndichiti dai tarega kuora mwoyo, tambotiona kuti
tinotenda vaGwanyanya. Tinotenda vaGwanyanya. Unfortunately nguva dzedu ndo dzati mhanyei, asi regai nditore mukana uno kuti nditende vamasimba kuchera Professor Gift Mugano na vaPersistent Gwanyanya nekupinda muchirongwa. Chimwe chezvinhu chandafarira ndechekuti paitaka kubvumirana kuti aiwa panodiwa kuti vanhu vange vachiuya pamwe chete vachivaka mari yenyika. Tinokutendai nekuti mapinda muchirongwa chanhasi. We are out of time unfortunately, and signing off in Washington, I am Taboka Ngube.